Yo, Yank,
Oh, hey, Paddy.
what are you doing in the room?
I'm just getting ready for this podcast and yanking your chain.
Here, episode 217.
All right. Welcome to the Paddy and The Yank podcast. This is episode 18 today. Paddy, how you doing?
Yank, usually you know me, I'm doing good. I'm usually in a positive mood, but got a little bit of bad news this morning, and unfortunately our dog at home in Ireland had to get put down.
That sucks.
Yeah, I know. It sucks because we've had the dog for 12 years, and as you know, I mean, you're a dog person just like myself. Dogs become part of your family. So when a dog like that dies or passes, it's the equivalent to me of losing like a best friend or a family member. And essentially the dog is a family member. So yeah, that's the news that I woke up to this morning. So, I was feeling a little bit sad.
I bet.
Yeah, and dogs are unreal. Like, there's a lot of times I would choose a dog over a human. There's many times I would choose the company of a dog over the company of a human. A dog loves you unconditionally, and if you treat that dog well, which everybody should do, you'll get that love back. And man, one thing, like when people ask me, what do you miss about Ireland? What do you miss about living in Ireland? It's always, of course, you miss your family, but it's the open fire in the house and the dog. Taking the dog down the river for a swim, through the woods, up the mountain. It's so pleasurable. It's so pleasurable too to watch our dog enjoying that freedom. A dog running through the woods, swimming down there. It's just the elation that dog has. It's just out there and it's free. So I used to get a great buzz out of seeing that happiness in the dog. So anybody out there that's lost a dog, I feel your pain. It's a sad thing.
So this is the longest I've gone without a dog. Or the first period of my life I've ever not had a dog. Always had a dog as a child, teenager, and then as an adult I had two pit bulls from like the age of 21 to 26. And then, now it's been 8 years, no dog.
Oh,
it's
man,
weird.
I know, it's
weird.
It's very hard.
I've grown cold.
Because they lighten your heart. A dog does.
Right.
A dog will almost always bring a smile to my face. I was in the park yesterday, and this chick came along with a boxer dog. You know a boxer?
Yeah. My mom has boxers.
Really?
One passed away like a few months ago, 6 months ago, 8 months ago, and the other one's on his last. Because they're big dogs, so they get really bad hip problems, hip dysplasia.
Like the German Shepherd as well.
Right.
The back legs.
So right now, Shiro, shout out to Shiro, can't walk very well.
Yeah.
He's just, struggling to get
thing,
by.
Man.
Yeah.
But this boxer came running up to me in the park, and I was like, oh, what's going on? And started rubbing it, and it just started going from my bag, and it was like scraping at my bag, and I was like, do I have anything illegal in my bag? Do I have anything in my bag? Why is it going from my bag? My student had his bag beside me, but I was like interacting with this dog, and then later on I seen a French, what do you call them? Them French dogs, but they have almost look like a pug. But they got
French bulldog?
Is it a French bulldog?
I think so.
They're so cool. I'm definitely getting one of those dogs in the future.
I would like a Shar-Pei.
What's a Shar-Pei?
It's like rolls and rolls of fat and skin on its face.
Oh, I know it.
They're so weird looking. And we always thought pit bulls were the most gangster dogs. And then we met some gangsters that had Shar-Peis. And I was like, whoa. So Shar-Peis are the level above pit bulls. I didn't know there was anything more gangster than a pit bull. But apparently, at least in this circle, the Shar-Peis were the creme de la creme.
Dobermans.
Yeah.
What about, I'll tell you.
We had one of those when I was little.
Yeah?
Scary looking.
I'll tell you is it the Doberman I'm thinking of?
Black with a brown belly.
With a big head.
They're like the Snoop Dogg.
Oh, okay.
Black, slender. With
I know exactly the dog you're talking about. I'm thinking about a different dog now as well. Like a big, it's got a huge head, almost like a bear, a Rottweiler.
Oh, yeah.
Man.
That was like Cujo, wasn't it? Wasn't Cujo Rottweiler?
Who's Cujo?
Cujo is a Stephen King movie.
Never
about
seen
a
it
crazy dog that went around killing. Yeah.
Good old Stephen King, huh? Cujo, the killer dog.
Yeah.
Man, but I seen these dogs in the park yesterday, and I had these interactions with these two dogs. One of them was this French, what were you calling it, a French bulldog?
Yeah, maybe.
And the other one was a boxer, and it was weird. I had these two interactions. I'm in the park a lot of the time. I do a lot of training outside, and yesterday for some reason these two dogs were drawn to me. and I had interactions with them. And little did I know, our dog at home was, on her way out, and she was getting put down. But yeah, you know what? I don't want to make it too bleak, but it was strange too, because yesterday was Friday the 13th.
And before we get into that, you just had me thinking about something, but that's the cool thing about dogs. Dogs can teach us joy, but dogs also remind us about the circle of life.
Yep.
And the same thing that happens to a dog happens to us too. So by watching our dogs go through this cycle, it's like, shit, I'm going through that cycle too. I forget, but I'm also on the same path that inevitably leads to death.
We're all born to die.
So let me tell you something funny. On Friday, I'm teaching, right?
Yeah.
And my student, he's 3 years old, almost 4, maybe just turned 4, and he had Legos, right? And he built this like flying bus. And I helped him build it a little bit, and I kept asking him questions. And then it was time to clean up the toys. And all of a sudden, I hear him crying, and I look over, and he's taking it apart and crying. And I'm like, why are you crying? And I look at my co-teacher. I'm like, why is he crying? She's like, he's crying because he doesn't want to take it apart. And I was like, oh, teachable moment. I was like, listen.
Step in the yank. Step in the yank.
I was like, get used to it, buddy, because it's going to get a lot worse. But everything you will inevitably lose everything that you love. And so I was gonna say, stop crying or something like that. And I was like, you know what? Just be sad, because that's something you're gonna have to get used to.
Yeah.
It starts with a Lego airplane, and one day it's a dog.
Yeah.
And
that's very.
It
starts with a Lego airplane, and one day
dog,
it's
and
a
then
dog.
and then it's a grandma or something like that. You know what I mean? So like, I didn't even want to step into his suffering. I was like, just suffer. Actually, you should know what it's like to take something apart that's beautiful.
Yeah, you got to experience that, right? Because like you said, there's no way of going through this life without avoiding suffering.
And that's what's cool. That's kind of like Burning Man, right? They
really
build this huge, beautiful piece of art, and then they burn it to the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have it for that moment. So enjoy it while you have it.
Right.
So anybody out there with your lovely dogs, enjoy that dog while you have it. Have loads of fun with it. Let it bring a smile to your face every time you see it, And I'm sure we're going to get another dog back there. We'll get another dog for sure.
My parents always do.
That's it.
Dogs die, they get a new one.
We've always had a dog since we've been kids, and, it's just something great, But anyways, it was kind of strange yesterday that our dog died, and it was also
you were
Friday
dealing with a lot on Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was Friday the 13th. There's a lot of superstition around Friday the 13th.
It excites me so much, but I didn't even know what I was excited about or what I wanted to do. I just knew, this is awesome. It's Friday the 13th.
Well, when I think of Friday the 13th, I first of all think of the movies, right? Friday the 13th with Jason Voorhees.
Yes.
And Camp Crystal Lake.
Yes.
Where
I might watch it today.
He got neglected by the camp counselors, and he drowned in the lake. And then his mother came. In the first Friday the 13th movie, his mother was the killer. And she was killing all the students that were camping around Camp Crystal Lake.
Yeah.
And then Jason came back from, like, the dead, I guess, I don't know, the lake.
Uh-huh.
And then it turned into Jason, and then Jason Voorhees became the killer.
Yeah.
He wore the hockey mask.
Right.
He carried a machete, and the theme tune, all them great horror movies from the 80s and the 90s, they had always had great theme music, like Halloween. It's like, fuck, shit, Michael Myers is coming, and the Friday the 13th was kill.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And you're like, fuck, what the hell? I know Jason's about to come because I'm hearing that fucking song and it's starting to get my attention. Like, very well done. So yeah, I always think of the movies when I think of Friday the 13th. But what I also think about is the superstition around the day Friday the 13th. So what I done was I done a little bit of research, and I looked into it, and I was like, where did this originate from? Where did the superstition around the day Friday the 13th come from? So I done a bit of research into the origin of the superstition. Such a hard word for me to say. The superstition around Friday the 13th.
Okay.
And it's considered an unlucky day in Western superstition. And it occurs when the 13th day of the month in the Gregarian calendar falls on a Friday. Now, what the Gregarian calendar is basically the calendar that the whole world uses.
Okay, so like the normal calendar?
The normal calendar. I think it was introduced in the 1500s by one of the popes or something like that. I'm not going to really get into it, but yeah. So the Gregarian calendar is the calendar we would use. And it falls on a Friday, which happens at least once every year, but it can occur up to 3 times in the same year. So we can have a Friday the 13th 3 times in a year. Okay?
Wow.
Yeah, which is pretty interesting.
It is, for sure.
And so, according to folklore, the unlucky nature of the number 13 originated with a Norse myth. So it originated from Norse mythology.
Oh.
And Norse mythology would have been like, the Germanic tribes, the Vikings, stuff like this, right?
The Aboriginal Vikings? They're not called Aboriginals, are they?
No, you don't call them Aboriginal Vikings. Yeah, so it originated from Norse or Scandinavian mythology, and it's a body of myths of the North Germanic peoples. So it stems from like Norse paganism, and it continues from Christianization of Scandinavia. So it's basically the Nordic countries. Let's say like Norway.
This is like
Denmark.
Northern Europe, right?
Yes, Northern Europe. So that's where this mythology stems from. So the unlucky nature of the number 13 originated with Norse myth about the 12 gods having a dinner party in Valhalla. Now, in Norse mythology, you have all these different types of gods, right? And you'll probably be familiar with quite a few of them.
Thor.
Thor.
Uh-huh.
So Thor is a Norse god, and he's a hammer-wielding, humanity-protecting thunder god.
Sounds
that's,
about right.
That's who Thor is, right? And he relentlessly fights his foes, the one-eyed raven, and the god Odin. Odin was a very famous god. He was like a god of wisdom and all this kind of stuff. And like the Vikings worshipped Odin.
Wasn't Odin his father in the first movie?
What are you talking about? Like Thor movie?
Yeah.
I never watched any of that. Was it like a DC movie or some comic book movie?
It's Marvel.
Oh, Marvel, yeah. I'm not really into that kind of stuff. But Odin, who craftily pursues knowledge throughout the worlds and bestowed among humanity the runic alphabet. I'm not really sure what that is. You've got other gods like the one you mentioned, Loki. And
a real
the god,
huh?
What?
He's a real god.
Loki was a real god in Norse mythology, yeah. And Loki, he brought a lot of tragedy to the other gods by engineering the death of the goddess Frigg and her beautiful son Balder, who I'm also going to talk about in just a moment.
Sweet.
So 12 of these gods were having a dinner party in Valhalla. Now, do you know what Valhalla is?
No idea.
Or what Valhalla was? So
No idea.
in Norse mythology, Valhalla is a majestic hall. It's like an enormous hall, and it's located in Asgard. And it's ruled over by the god Odin. Odin is the god that oversees and rules Valhalla, which is located in a place called Asgard. Now, half of those who die in combat travel to Valhalla upon their death. So a lot of times you see in, let's say, the TV show Vikings, they want to die with their sword in their hand on the battlefield. That's how they believe they will enter Valhalla or get to Valhalla, right? I guess it's like...
I wonder if Japanese samurais have something similar.
Possibly.
Like, that's why they do the cut themselves?
There you go.
Yeah.
Or the kamikaze.
Yeah, the kamikaze. Like, do they believe that will give them a specific afterlife?
Isn't there, like, in Muslim beliefs, like, if they commit a suicide bomb, they believe
Japan,
that
I think
there'll be 12 virgins waiting for them in the afterlife.
Whoa.
You heard that, no?
No.
Okay.
But I think for the Japan, it was actually just service to the emperor, right? I don't think there was any sort of divine beliefs that drove them to do it.
Yeah, you could be right there. That rings a bell.
Yeah.
That it wasn't to a higher power.
But they definitely prided it in an honorable
and
death.
Japan.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure, man. Fuck, flying planes into
Well, the sword.
ships.
What was that called? I can't remember. Where you take the sword and you
I know what you're talking
ram
about.
it into your own chest
Yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah.
Or you stick it in your chest and then go down.
It's like, I have dishonored my family.
Yeah. Oh.
The Seven Samurai movie and stuff like that. That's great. That's got a lot of that stuff in it. So yeah, so Valhalla, and a lot of the Vikings believed that if they died upon the battlefield or in combat, that they would arrive upon Valhalla, led by Valkyries to be with Odin. So they would be with Odin for eternity in Valhalla. So basically, yeah, Valhalla, or in the Old Norse way of saying it, would be Valhall, I think. In Norse mythology, is the hall of slain warriors who live blissfully under the leadership of the god Odin. Valhalla is depicted as a splendid palace, roofed with shields, where the warriors feast on the flesh of a boar slaughtered daily and made whole again each evening.
Oh, sounds yummy.
Huh?
Sounds yummy.
So you can see why they want to die on the battlefield with their sword in their hand.
Wow, and imagine actually believing that.
And they fully believed it.
Yeah.
The Vikings fully believed this.
You could get anybody to do anything if you could get them to actually believe something like this.
Hey.
You know what I mean?
It's not even them just believing it. Imagine facing that enemy on the battlefield that believes that to die fighting with their sword in their hand is how they will get to Valhalla, where they'll get to spend the rest of eternity.
They want
with
to do
the
it.
god Odin. That's a scary foe. That's a scary foe on the battlefield. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because they're not even scared of death. They're excited to die because they're dying honorably.
Yeah. They welcome it with open arms. So these 12 gods were having a dinner party in Valhalla. and the trickster god Loki. So Loki was the trickster god. He wasn't invited to this party for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe he fucked one of their wives or whatever Loki done. He wasn't invited to this party in Valhalla. He arrived as the 13th guest, and he arranged for Hur. I don't know if that's how you say this guy's name. Hur. He arranged for Hur to shoot Balder. Balder was the son of one of the other goddesses. He arranged for him basically to be slain with an arrow tipped in mistletoe. Balder died. And
mistletoe poisonous?
I never thought mistletoe was poisonous. When I think of mistletoe, I think of Christmas.
Right, you kiss under
Kiss
it.
mommy under the mistletoe. I don't know how the song goes.
Yeah.
So when Balder died, the whole earth got dark, and the whole earth mourned. The whole earth mourned the death of this god Balder, and it was a bad, unlucky day. This major event in Norse mythology caused the number 13 to be considered unlucky.
Okay.
Now, this is also associated with Christians and Christianity.
I knew there was more.
Christian associations with this is the superstition seems to relate to various things like the story of Jesus and the Last Supper. Also the crucifixion, in which there were 13 individuals present in the upper room on the 13th of Nisan, Monday, Thursday, the night before his death on Good Friday. So there was 13 of them at the Last Supper.
Okay. He had 12 disciples. So including Jesus, he would
There
have
you
been
go.
number 13.
So there was 13 of them at the Last Supper the day before he was crucified.
Jesus was number 13.
That's crazy, huh? So
Yeah.
let's check out some other superstitions or coincidences around the number 13 and what it has to do with Friday. Right. While there is evidence of both Friday and the number 13 being considered unlucky, there is no record of the two items being referred to as especially unlucky in conjunction before the 19th century. So in the early 19th century, there was this guy called These names are so mental. There was this guy called Giochino Rossini.
Well, that sounded like very accurate. I don't know what it looks like.
Sounds Italian or something like that, right? And he was a biographer or whatever like that. And he died on Friday the 13th. Now, Rossini was surrounded to the last by admiring friends. And if it be true that, like so many Italians, he regarded Fridays as an unlucky day. So seemingly in the 19th century, Italians, they consider
19th century?
They consider Friday to be an unlucky day and 13 to be an unlucky number.
Whoa.
So it's remarkable that on Friday the 13th, he passed away. So you can imagine that just
Sealed the deal.
Sealed the deal. Like they're like, oh, he died on a Friday and it happened to be the 13th as well. Fuck, Friday the 13th, the curse is real. You know what I mean? That's how these things happen. Yeah. Now there's also something interesting. It's like in Hispanic culture and in Greek culture, it's not Friday the 13th that's considered unlucky. It's Tuesday the 13th.
Huh. That's trippy.
Doesn't have the same ring to it, does it?
No.
Tuesday the 13th. Friday the 13th. So in Spanish-speaking countries, instead of Friday, Tuesday the 13th is considered a day of bad luck. Now the Greeks, they also consider Tuesday, and especially the 13th, an unlucky day. So Tuesday is considered dominated by the influence of Ares. Now Ares is the god of war, and the fall of Constantinople to the Fourth Crusade occurred on Tuesday, the 13th of April, 1204. That's a long time ago.
It's a very long time ago.
Yeah. Also, the fall of Constantinople to the Ottomans happened on Tuesday, the 29th, 1453. So they don't like the day Tuesday because they think it's bad luck because a lot of...
I've never heard of anybody not liking a specific day other than Monday.
Monday?
Yeah, Monday.
Did you ever,
Monday.
Did you ever hear the song by the Boomtown Rats? They were an Irish band led by Bob Geldof. I used to be able to do a very good Bob Geldof impression. I won't do it today, but I'll do it sometime. And they had the song, Tell Me Why I Don't Like Mondays. Tell me why I don't like Mondays. Tell me why I don't like Mondays. I wanna... something the whole day down. And that was about a girl who didn't like Mondays, so she went into school on Mondays and killed a load of people.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
the
Boomtown Rats, Tell Me Why I Don't Like Mondays.
I remember the song Blue Monday by Orgy, which I love, but I think it was a remake, actually, of an older song.
Wasn't Blue Monday... Blue Monday is the most successful selling single by the British band... Is it not Joy Division, or is it... What was the band after Joy Division?
Yeah, I think it was an 80s song, and then Orgy remade it into a rock song.
The band after Joy Division was... Man, I cannot think of this.
I'm just looking for the original singer of Blue Monday, right?
Yeah, it's the band after Joy Division. The lead singer of Joy Division killed himself, Ian Curtis. He hung himself. Give me a little clue. because I know it,
Give you a clue.
of the name of the
Okay.
band. Joy Division, and then there was
Whoa. First recorded in 1953
the very first recording of Blue
by
Monday.
Smiley Lewis.
Oh, shit.
Written by Dave Bartholomew. Recorded by Smiley Lewis. 1954. Okay, that's not what we were expecting. Are you thinking of Fats Domino?
No, not Fats Domino.
New Order?
New Order.
It turns out there's a lot of
Holy
this song's
hell.
been done like many, many times.
Holy shit. Okay, well, New Order's version of Blue Monday is I think
1983.
that's the most sold single, I think, of all time. Or it was, anyways, for a long time. And New Order's Blue Monday.
Spent 38 weeks at the top 75.
Damn, that's a long time. I don't know.
It is the best-selling 12-inch single of all time. That's
There
what
you
you
go.
wanted, right?
That's what I knew Blue Monday. When I heard that straight away, I was like, right.
I love the Orgy remake. That was my time era. Like I was 15
Yeah.
or something, or 16 when that came out.
Really?
When I was obsessed with Korn and Limp Bizkit, Kid Rock, so I just loved it. I loved it.
All right, let's get back to this.
Way off track, eh?
So the Greeks didn't like the day Tuesday because a lot of their empires were falling.
Get
on it.
over it, Greeks.
On a Tuesday,
Get
a lot
over it.
of their empires fell. So in addition, in Greek, the name of the day is Triti, meaning the third day of the week, adding weight to the superstition since bad luck is said to come in threes. I didn't know bad luck was
Also,
said
they
to come in
consider
threes.
Sunday to be the first day of the week.
Yeah, they
I'm
must
still
do.
a
Yeah.
little confused because in America we considered Monday the first day, but in Taiwan they consider Sunday They say it, but in Chinese Monday's ipai, which literally means day one.
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
So they call Monday day one, but maybe in the U.S. we call Sunday day one.
I consider Monday to be the first day of the week.
So do I.
Sunday is the last day of the weekend. Monday's
Yeah.
the first day of the week.
I don't know.
I guess if it's the work, I don't know. Who the fuck knows? What are we living in?
Yeah.
Time, months. You know what I mean? We've created all this madness. So, another little thing before we finish up on this. In Italian popular culture, Friday the 17th and not the 13th is considered a bad luck day. Now, the origin of this belief could be traced in the writing of the number 17 in Roman numerals. If you shuffle around the Roman numerals of the number 17, you can spell out the word I have lived.
Wow.
Listeners at home, have a go. And it implies that death at present. So it's implying death at present, an omen of bad luck. In fact, in Italy, 13 is generally considered a lucky number. However, due to Americanization, Yank, you are to blame for that. You and you alone. Young people consider Friday the 13th unlucky as well. Yeah, so there's a little bit of a history on Friday the 13th and why it's considered to be unlucky. Now, when I was doing this little bit of research on Friday the 13th and things that are lucky or unlucky, it made me think of superstitions. Because that is a superstition, right?
Right.
Believing that the letter 13 is unlucky, or Friday the 13th is unlucky, or bad things will happen. Reading this, I found some very interesting information.
Okay.
Businesses in America, their profit plummets on Friday the 13th, especially
Whoa.
airlines.
Really?
Because people, a lot of people are so scared of Friday the 13th that they stay at home.
Yeah.
A lot of people call in sick to work. They don't go to the gym. They don't do anything that they think.
I never did that, but something that used to happen was if it was Friday the 13th, somebody would say, you better not go out today. Better just go straight home. Be careful when you're driving home today. Like that was pretty common for people to say.
Like that's pretty crazy, right?
Yeah.
So get this, right? According to the Stress Management Center and the Phobia Institute in Asheville, North Carolina, an estimated 17 to 21 million people in the United States are affected by a fear of this day. They're affected by a fear of Friday the 13th. 17 to
Wow.
21 million people, making it the most feared day and date in history. Some people are so paralyzed by fear that they avoid their normal routines in doing business, taking flights, or even getting out of bed. And it's estimated that 800 to 900 US million... That was so terrible. What was I about to say? Sorry. It's estimated that between 800 and 900 million US dollars is lost in business on a Friday the 13th.
Wow.
So almost $1 billion is lost on a Friday the 13th.
Oh, sorry. I was starting to think about Ghost Month in Taiwan and like how during Ghost Month you're not supposed to go to the beach. You're not supposed to go swimming. There are all these things. You're not supposed to whistle.
Yeah.
All these random things. So I wonder if during that month the money goes down in Taiwan as well.
In Finland, they call it National Accident Day. Like that's mad. Yeah, there's some pretty interesting information on that regarding... Them numbers are mind-blowing. Those numbers for me were mind-blowing.
It makes me think about like Floyd Mayweather. Like he wants you to hate him, and by hating him, you make him more popular.
Yeah.
When we fear something and feed it energy, we make it more powerful. As to where if we didn't, it's just like a thought in our mind. If we didn't feed it fuel, it would cease to exist. But because we feed it fuel, it becomes stronger.
It grows and becomes something. It's
and then it actually does something because we gave it the power.
Like religion.
Like
it's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Like anything.
You know where religion exists? Religion exists in a person's imagination. But wait, not just one person. A religion exists in the collective imagination. If everybody in the morning stopped believing in religion, religion would no longer exist. It's in the collective imagination. That's what religion, just like you were talking about there, superstitions. We feed them and they grow out of our fear.
Right.
But a lot of the time it's irrational.
Right.
These are irrational fears. I'm not going to get out of bed today because it's Friday the 13th and something bad might happen. And you're so scared that you could potentially scare yourself into making something happen. And if something did happen, you would put it down to, it was Friday the 13th. The curse is real.
Oh,
you know
like
what I mean?
like COVID-19, especially right now in Taiwan, it's finally bad. Right, all other countries have pretty much gotten over it.
Yep.
People are freaking out and they're anxious, and I'm like, man, if you keep stressing yourself out, you are going to shut your immune system down, and then you're going to be more likely to get it because you're so stressed out about not getting it.
Fear is very, very interesting. I'm fascinated by fear. I'm fascinated by how people react under fear, or let's say the different levels of fear that people experience. Like, you know, it fascinates me. People change when they're in a fearful situation. It could be something minimal, and we all fear different things. We all have fear, unless you're a psychopath. Then you don't. I know somebody who didn't have any fear, and that's a scary person. But anyways, I won't talk about that. But we all have fear, and we all have different
Yeah, I
fears.
have a lot of fear. Fear's always been a driving force in my life. I can't deny that.
Fear keeps us alive too. You know, there's healthy fear.
The most toxic kind of fear is a fear where you don't understand what the roots are.
Yeah.
Like some of us have fear that is the result of a trauma from our childhood, and we actually don't even know it. The only thing we know is that in this situation, I feel fear and anxious and anxiety, but I don't know why. And actually, I don't even actually really know that I'm feeling anxious. It's just governing me and dictating me, you know?
But you know what the thing is too? We can control fear.
And I was kind of, when you were just talking a few seconds ago, I was thinking about the opposing side and the law of attraction and the secret, how I can, like, instead of like ruminating about fears, I can ruminate about how good today's going to be and how fun today's going to be and how positive it's going to be.
And how to overcome a fear.
And it's the total opposite.
Conquering a fear is empowering, and it gives you a lot of strength. It gives you mental strength. Let's see, even the fear of, like, I've got a fear of taking a cold shower. Overcoming that fear strengthens your mind, or as David Goggins says, calluses your mind.
Yeah.
So anyways, not to stray too much off track, I'm going to...
This is all about fear, though. Superstitions are the result of fear,
Very
right?
true. Friday the 13th, it all ties
This
in.
is all fear.
So when I was checking up this about Friday the 13th, and I seen it was to do with Norse mythology, and then I seen the statistics about how many people actually live in fear of the day Friday the 13th. In America, what is it, 17 to 20 million people? That's a crazy number. I started thinking about Irish superstitions, and I was like, I remember we had a lot of superstitions when I was growing up in Ireland. People were always like, don't walk under that ladder. It's bad luck. You know,
Same.
they'd literally drag you. If you're walking down the street and you're walking beside your father or your mother and like you're coming to a ladder, you mightn't even be taking any notice. They'd literally yank you out of the way. It's like, God, you almost walked under that ladder. 7 years bad luck.
Okay.
And it's like, what? So I delved into this and I found 11 superstitions that Irish people still believe.
Okay. It'll be interesting to see how many we also have in the U.S.
This is interesting because some of these I had to laugh at because they were things I remember, you know?
Yeah.
Giving something sharp to a friend can cut your friendship. In Ireland and 7 other countries, giving or passing someone a knife or a scissors is said to sever the relationship. Luckily, there is a way around this by accepting a coin in exchange. So, you can still get your friends and family
I think I've heard that before. I just gave Ninja Ned a knife last weekend. My dad is always giving me knives, and I always give all of my friends knives.
I've noticed your huge knife collection
quite
here.
a few knives.
So, according to Irish superstition, if you give somebody a knife or a scissors, in order for that curse or bad luck to be reversed and not sever their friendship, they have to give you a coin in return. It doesn't matter what kind of a coin it is. It could be a 10-cent coin, it could be a 20-cent coin, it could be a 1 penny coin. So that's an Irish
I
superstition.
think I've seen it in a movie or something, but it's never something I've done. One thing I do with knives is if you hand somebody an open knife and they close it, it's bad luck if they give it back to you and they now have to keep the knife. So if I ever, so I should never hand somebody an open knife. But if I do and they close it, I'm like, shit, that's yours now.
Huh.
Yeah.
Hand me one of those nice knives you got over there.
No.
I'll close it straight away. All right. Another Irish superstition is seeing a single magpie brings sorrow to the passerby. This one made me laugh because this is still common. When I go home to this day, me and my mother will walk our old dog. We see magpies all over the place in Ireland.
I don't know what a magpie is.
A magpie it looks like a crow. It's a big bird, looks like a crow, but it's got black and white feathers and like a little blue on its tail. Beautiful bird. You got them here in Taiwan as well.
Oh, I think one flew in and got stuck in my balcony at my last apartment. We had to call animal control to come let it out.
So that's a magpie. Anybody out there listening from Newcastle, man? Newcastle in the north of England. Man. Newcastle, the Magpies. That's the soccer team from, I'm saying soccer because you're American, but the football team from Newcastle in the north of England.
At least I know what the hell you're talking about.
Their football kit is black and white, and their nickname is the Magpies.
Oh, cool.
So, many Irish superstitions revolved around the pesky crow, who antagonized farmers in a myriad of ways, and so made for a convenient collective enemy. However, a solo magpie can strike fear into the heart of a passerby, as no crow could ever do. There's some muddying between the Irish and English versions of magpie folklore, but the general belief is that saluting the magpie, and even sometimes telling him or her the time, will stave off the sorrow, and a duo of magpies conversely brings joy. Another bird-related Irish superstition states that anyone who kills a robin will have lifelong bad luck.
Damn.
And anyone that kills a robin, go fuck yourself. Or kills animals in general like that. Just
Didn't you kill a bird?
Yeah, I did. I done a drive-by on a crow.
So
yeah, fuck me, I know. I've repented for that. All right, let's get on to another one. Oh, here's one that you'll be interested in. Disturb a fairy fort, especially at the start of May when the fairies are at their worst, and it brings you bad luck. Now,
that's so Irish.
The term fairy fort refers to a variety of structure remnants found across Ireland that some people believe to be the home of fairies or small people. Now, when we were younger and we were growing up in Ireland, like I told you, there was so many folklore stories and superstitions that we would have been told by our uncles, by our grandfather, by neighbours, and one of them was, don't ever disturb a fairy fort. Wow. Now, what is a fairy fort? If you were to come to Ireland with me and we were driving around and there's lots of fields, lots of open grassy areas with some trees here and there, it looks basically like a horseshoe shape in the ground. And it's like it would have grown over, with weeds or with rocks, but it's a very distinct...
Like a mound?
It's like a mound, but
it's elevated.
It's elevated and indented into the ground. It's almost got the shape of a horseshoe.
Okay.
And that's considered to be a fairy fort. And we were, again, young kids growing up, we were terrified, of a fairy fort. And there was,
Aren't fairies a good thing?
Okay, let's see. So, as sweet as the name sounds, fairies were not to be disturbed. And revenge for any upheaval could range from sleepless nights to even death, causing many farmers to still report being afraid to disturb a fairy fort to this very day. Now, archaeologists, however, explain the presence of these circular structures as rats. So, as the mounds and protective enclosures that family groupings made around their living quarters during the Iron Age to early Christian periods. So, these fairy forts actually date back to the Iron Age and to the early Christian periods of little groupings that were made around people's living quarters. So they still, to this day, they're still there to this day. You can see them all over Ireland. And
really?
Yeah, you can see them all over Ireland.
Show me a picture.
Yeah.
So the rats or the really old structures that were built a long time ago by humans?
Back in the Iron Age times, yeah.
Back in the Iron Age.
And they've all grown over, over now, and they look like these round horseshoe mounds, and people think they're fairy forts.
But people actually built them
like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years ago.
Go around their living quarters.
Yes.
Huh. And it's a little bit cooler if you think that there's fairies inside.
Yeah, as we did when we were kids. As lots of Irish people did growing up as kids. To this day, farmers still won't go near them.
Really?
Yeah. All right, here's another one. When your nose is itchy, it's a sign of a fight to come. This one made me laugh. This one really made me laugh, right? An itchy nose can be annoying enough as it is. But the belief that it signifies a fight is coming in your near future brings another level of irritation. To nip the conflict in the bud, some believe this is fucking funny. If you want to nip the impending conflict in the bud, the impending conflict that you're going to have a fight because you got an itchy nose, people believe that a light punch or a handshake with the suspected combatant will do the trick.
But yeah, I'm about to have a fight, and he's the closest person to me, so he's the only person I could fight. So if I go ahead and have him punch me real quick, then maybe I can avoid the fight.
Give him a light punch or a handshake. Maybe the light punch first, and then the handshake, and that will.
We say if your nose is itching, that means somebody's thinking about you.
Really?
Yeah.
We say if your ear is hot and your ear is burning, it means people are talking about you.
Yeah, and then if you get the chills, it means somebody just walked on your grave.
That's interesting, but I don't have a grave yet.
Your
My
future
grave.
Yeah.
You know I'm going down the river and fucking
I think I might be
in a
going
blaze
with you.
of glory with my sword in my hand, shoot them flaming arrows, and Valhalla will await me.
I want the same thing. Not for any belief in Valhalla, but that'll be a fucking gangster-ass funeral. Go up in flames.
Like
in the
shooting
water.
Hunter S. Thompson out of the cannon.
Yes.
All right, let's get to another one. If the palm of your left or right hand is itchy, money is coming your way, or it's leaving you. So, an itchy palm on your left hand means that someone is going to pay you money. Although some also believe you need to spit on your hand to bring that to fruition.
I think they're putting too much work into these superstitions.
It's crazy.
These are very complicated.
An itchy right palm means you will have to pay out money soon, and no amount of spit will turn that fortune around. You're there, you've got an itchy right hand and you're spitting on it like crazy. It ain't going to do you no good.
Like, if your ear feels warm, clap twice, spit to the left, and wink at the sun, and then all the bad luck will be gone.
Like, I'm going to leave it there. There's loads more, but I'm going to leave it at that because that last one, just as you said, as you
make it complex.
not deciphered, as you
break it
dissected,
apart.
yes.
Dissected, yeah.
As you dissected that last one, it made me think, these superstitions and like that, where do people...
Very elaborate.
Very, very...
I think old bored ladies.
Yeah. Old wives' tales as well, I guess, like, you know.
Depends on your culture, too. I think Mexicans are a lot more superstitious than Americans. So
Really?
I have some, like my dad's wife's family's Mexican. They're very superstitious. Very superstitious.
Can you tell me? So that was a few Irish superstitions.
Like the ladder, broken mirror, and gosh, she had something about having Buddha statues all over the house. And it's been such a long time. I've told you some of them just now. I can't remember now. I've been gone too long. But
like another superstition is don't open an umbrella inside a house. It brings bad luck. Like
I think I've heard that too.
Who came up with that?
I think I've heard that too.
Because that was
salt. Don't spill the salt. If you spill the salt, you have to throw a pinch over your left shoulder. That's a good example of an elaborate one.
That's to hit the devil in the eye or something like that.
I actually still do it.
Like that's crazy.
Out
Like
of habit.
Like
no, maybe I haven't done it lately. Maybe I kind of forgot.
Like a human conjured that up in their mind, in their imagination. A human conjured that up.
So you're hitting a devil?
I don't remember what this. I heard something about throwing the salt over your shoulder. That's an Irish one too. Irish people believe that too. Throw salt over your shoulder, and it's supposed to hit the devil in the eye or some shit like that. Another one is like you said, if you break a mirror, it's 7 years bad luck.
Yeah.
If you walk,
I heard if you cheers and you don't take a drink, it's 7 years bad sex. A French girl told me that.
Really?
A French Vietnamese. We went to Cheers, and then I went to put my drink back down. She's like, "You do that, you have 7 years bad sex. It's a lot of years of bad sex." I took a drink.
You should have said I'm a eunuch. It ain't gonna matter to me at all.
I'm a eunuch.
Eunuch is I learned that out of Game of Thrones. It's like they're like kind of priests, aren't they? But they get themselves castrated at a young age or whatever like that, and they can't fornicate. Sorry,
They cut it off.
If you want to talk to me, I think we have to fornicate first. Sorry, that was Mike Tyson said that in an interview. Sorry. Yeah, so
really?
that's
awesome.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna leave it at that for today. That was a little history on the superstition surrounding the letter 13, also the day Friday the 13th, and some Irish superstitions. Okay, so I think we'll leave it at that for today. And what we do on this podcast, or what we've been striving to do, is we like to play some original music from original artists that are potentially not signed, and they want to get their music out there.
Somebody just walked on my grave. I just gotta chill.
Someone danced on your grave, the Yank's grave. So what we like to do is we like to use this podcast as a platform for any creatives, whether you're a poet, an artist, send us your stuff. We want to use the IG, and this
art too, right?
Art,
digital art, NFTs,
whatever, anything. Send it our way, and we're gonna have some very good music coming up soon from some artists. And today we're gonna leave you with another song from the Outfit, who I am fucking digging.
I've liked their last 2 tracks.
I fucking love this stuff. Yeah.
Someone suggested we should use that as the intro music.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Maybe I can contact these guys and see if they're up for doing it.
Yeah.
Okay, so follow the IG, Paddy and The Yank _podcast. Facebook.
Paddy Yank on Facebook. Paddy and The Yank podcast at gmail.com. And we are now live and running on YouTube.
Yes.
So get on
I
YouTube,
forgot.
search us, and
Like and subscribe.
yep,
Let's
you can listen to the podcast there.
That's it. If you enjoy this, then help us.
Yeah.
Please. For the love of everything, help us. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, peace. This
Peace
is
out.
the outfit.
All right. Cheers.
I'm telling